Laura. Welcome to my channel. And what I'm doing this video on today is distilling water. I want to talk about some of the benefits of drinking distilled water and different things that you can use distilled water for. But I'm going to start off just talking a little bit about the water distiller that I have and kind of how to use it. So to clean this thing out is the important thing, because what happens is everything builds up inside of this. All those deposits from all those minerals like calcium deposits and things get on the inside of this. And this is when you can see what builds up inside the body when you're not drinking distilled water and you're drinking water that has so many inorganic minerals in it. So what I do is I clean it out with, I have a big bag of citric acid, and you can fill this up halfway. Well, you can fill it up to the line, which is where you normally fill it up when you fill up your water. But when you clean it out, you want to fill it up to that line and keep the top off of it. Put about 3 tablespoons of the citric acid in there and keep it on for about 1 hour. And when you do that, you will see that when you go to rinse it out, you will see all that buildup inside of this. You will see that it will all be loose. And you need to kind of take something like a paper towel and just wipe out the inside. And this is something on a maintenance that you may need to do every couple of weeks, maybe once a month, because you'll see that build up on the outside of this, and it gets real gross and grimy, and you'll get to see all that yucky stuff that's going into your body when you are not drinking the distilled water. So another trick that I do with this, it's not really a trick, it's a way to save money, because they have these little filters that end up costing you a fortune that you'll have to keep buying. So what I have done is I get these bags of the activated charcoal. And it's not the powder, because if you get the powder, you're going to see the activated charcoal all over your water. It's going to look like black water almost, and you don't want that. So you want to get these are like pellets. And you take the pellets and you fill them inside of one of these tea bags. This is just a regular tea bag that you would put it inside. I do make sure that they are the unbleached kind, because you don't want bleach getting into your water. We're trying to have water as clean as we can. So I usually fill those up in here, and what I do is I end up with this. I roll up one of these bags just like that with the string, and then I'm able to just stick it inside, and you attach it to your water distiller, and it kind of snaps. And then you just stick that underneath, and you get all your components together and turn it on. It'll take about 4 hours to make yourself a full thing of distilled water. So just to talk a little bit about my choice to drink distilled water, and I can't really tell anybody what kind of water to drink. I know there's a lot of controversy out there about different waters, and you know, reverse osmosis. There's people who want to drink spring water. I definitely would say that I would not drink straight from the tap. And then you have people like John Kohler that just tell you to drink it from the coconut, and that's the best water for you. But personally, as far as water, I have always felt that distilled water was the best water. I have always had water fountains and things in my house, and I have always put distilled water in them. I love exotic plants and things, and I have always used some distilled water in those, because They say that a lot of times that when you're giving water to your plants and things, that all of that inorganic calcium deposits and all of those minerals could actually harm the plant, that it's better to give them distilled water. So I have always used that or rainwater one. So I also think that in my mind, I think, well, because when you put it in a fountain, the reason why you use distilled water in a water fountain is because all those deposits build up in your fountain and they end up making your fountain clog up, the filter. So I think to myself, why would I put that in my body? Wouldn't it be the same way to clog up my body? And that has always made sense to me. So I have always been big on using distilled water. And I also, years back, I had gotten this book, and this book is just called Water, and it's by Bragg. You can get it at Amazon. I do not have links set up for these things yet, but you can look these up on Amazon, and they're easy enough to order. If anybody was interested in learning a little bit about some of the different things and reasons why to drink distilled water and why there are people that choose to drink distilled water, and learning about the inorganic minerals and what damage they can do to the body. I know that there will be people out there that will talk about it leaching minerals from the body and you not getting enough minerals. I feel that I don't want inorganic minerals, that I get enough minerals from my foods, and that's why I chose to be a raw foodist and eat a lot of very highly mineralized foods, and I don't want to be focusing on getting that from my water. Plus, I really feel that inorganic minerals are not the kind of minerals that you want in your body. So in time, I feel that these inorganic minerals build up inside the body, and they could end up causing a lot of problems with joints and different things. And it talks in this book that I was earlier speaking about, how the woman that turned to stone, and it only makes sense to me that your body will stiffen up when you're having all these different inorganic minerals. When I look inside of my distiller and I see all that stuff built up inside of there, it just makes all the sense in the world. Why wouldn't I want to drink the cleanest water that I can get? And then I also think to myself, when people use an enema, do they use spring water? No, they always tell you to use distilled water. So if you're going to use it for that, why would you not want to drink it? It just makes perfect sense to me for this to be the best water. I think of it as God's water, and I always have thought that that was the best water to drink. I used to buy, years ago, I used to buy the bottles of distilled water, and I drank a lot of distilled water, and then I kind of got out of it for a while, and I really did feel a difference. But being on raw foods, if people are just eating a standard diet and they're not drinking distilled water, it's even worse, because all of those things, calcifications and everything building up the body, and this is why people get stiff joints, arthritis, need to have knee replacements and all of these things. So I want to kind of keep my joints. And just to get into some of the benefits, the beauty benefits of drinking distilled water. When you drink this kind of water, you will see a very big difference in your skin. I could notice the difference. There have been times when I have not been able to drink distilled water, and I can tell the difference in my skin if I do not drink it. So I know that it is very good for the skin. And another beautifying secret that I have done for years is that I have never washed my face without using distilled water. I like to use a pretty bowl in my bathroom and pour the distilled water in there and use that on my face only. And when I go in the shower, I don't wash my face in the shower with hot water or anything. I just use lukewarm distilled water. And if I ever want to heat my face, you know, steam it or whatever, I have always used a towel where I will soak it in the distilled water, and I have one of those towel warmers because I'm a beautician, and I have used one of those for years, and I will stick it in there and steam my face that way. So if I want to open my pores or anything like that, that's what I do. I have never used the water from the tap on my face. I do shower with it, but I don't use it on my face. The face is something that you want to keep as nice as you can, and I really do see a huge difference if I don't do this. So this is a beautifying secret that I don't know if a lot of people know, but they also, when they use certain products, they always use something called aqua in there, and it means that it's distilled water. That's what they're actually putting in with the product that they're mixing with the you know, whatever it is that they're using, some kind of cream, and they're mixing it with the aqua. It is the water. And you could also put distilled water in a little spray bottle and just mist your face with it, and you will see that your skin will be very soft and smooth. So my next beauty secret is, this has to do with the hair. You know, you hear a lot of people out there now talking about not using as much shampoo and not wanting to wash as much. And if you look on YouTube, you'll see some different people out there that are going like weeks without washing their hair, and it's kind of a new craze right now, but it really does make a lot of sense. And this is something that I started doing back a while ago, where I started washing my hair a lot less and started considering not using so much shampoo, and started off by using a baking soda. That was something that I had seen on, I think it was the Banana Girl, who made some recipes for washing hair with baking soda, and she put together a different solutions, maybe 3 different kinds. I don't know the exact measurements and what exactly it was, but I tried that, and that really did kind of work. It does make your hair soft to do that, but I decided that if I was going to use distilled water on my face all the time, and I was going to drink distilled water and use it in my fountains, and I'm even considering using it in my fish aquarium, which I haven't done yet, why not use it for shampoo? Why use water from the tap on my hair? So I did it one time, and I do notice that it is a lot softer from not using hard water, and that could be one of the reasons, besides washing it so much with shampoos. One of the reasons why people's hair gets so dry is from washing it. You're also putting this water in there that is full of all these different minerals and contaminants and God knows what else, hard water in general. So it makes perfect sense to start washing with distilled water. So I decided that I'm going to continue doing this, and I did a little bit of research on it and came up with this recipe, which is using a half a cup of water, distilled water, and using a half a cup of Castile soap, which this soap is by Dr. Bronner's, and it has a lot of different oils in it. You can also add jojoba oil to it or any other kind of oils. I think that it's said to use about a teaspoon of the jojoba oil, and you can add rose oil. You can add rosemary. Rosemary is something good because that's supposed to stimulate the scalp. And just make that up, wash it, rinse it out with distilled water. And I think that that's going to be my